Hello, welcome back. I'm Darren, and today I would like to clear a few things up. So, I posted a video last night, and the reason I posted the video was because somebody within my community asked for my honest opinion on how a certain game looked at certain settings, my thoughts on it. They wanted my honest opinion, and I'd like to actually make that clear. I thought I had made it clear, but for any newcomers, whatever, for anyone wanting to leave, so be it. This channel is about my opinion. I have various hardware. I would have bought it. I bought it before this channel. I would have bought it anyway before this channel. So I haven't bought hardware. The only things that I've bought specifically for this channel since I decided to start this channel were obviously a mic and a better webcam. But basically, this hardware I'd be using, I'd be playing anyway. So the reason of this channel is for me to give my opinion. Now, I see a lot of opinions on others that I agree with, and I see a lot of opinions on YouTube or Facebook that I don't agree with. So this channel is completely centered around my opinion, and people have different opinions. So people will maybe watch my content and decide that they value my opinion, or people will watch my content and maybe decide that they don't value my opinion, and that's perfectly fine. I have absolutely no problem with that because it is an opinion, and I hope that I make that clear enough in the content I make. I've said it before, I've said it again, I have no interest in fanboy war bullshit. All I'm doing is giving my opinion, and I've made it probably pretty clear on this channel that my opinion is generally biased towards visuals. I don't count FPS as the only one given metric. Actually, to me, visuals come before that. As long as I have a playable experience, then visuals will come before it. So if I'm in a game that I don't need high FPS, and I'm not saying that that's in every game, but if I'm in a game, I like visual games. So when I'm playing a game that I find visually appealing, as long as I have the performance I need, if I have anything over the performance I need, and there is something else that I can add to gain visual performance, then I will add that visual enhancement on. And as long as I still have enough performance, that's how I'll play the game. So, I mean, I don't know. I think that should be probably obvious in the videos that I've uploaded. Now, there is no point, or there isn't a point when I'm playing a game that I will add something in which will completely destroy the fidelity of the image to add a feature that I don't think will benefit in any way because I have destroyed the image, to add in a feature that is supposed to visually enhance. And that's where I went with the Cyberpunk video yesterday. So, to me, and this goes with FSR and this goes with DLSS, it's not a battle, it's not a fight between the two upscalers. This is purely down to, there is a limit with an upscaler. And at 1440p, the limit isn't far past quality. Quality FSR or quality DLSS. In some games at 1440p, if you are lucky, you will go to balanced with DLSS and still retain a half decent looking picture. It's not likely you're going to be able to do that with FSR. Now at 4K, the boundaries open up a bit wider, but we're not talking about 4K. And we're not talking about 4K within the video that I was recording yesterday. Now, there is no time within this channel, I believe, in the next 10 years, that I will ever advise you to use FSR Ultra Performance or DLSS Ultra Performance at 1440p or even 4K. It is way too much to re-render. You're talking way too low a base limit. And as soon as I recorded that Cyberpunk video yesterday, as soon as I turned that image on, I knew exactly what was going to happen, because I've actually tried. I think at some point I've already tried at 1440p, and I've tried to reduce it to balanced, and at balanced the image fidelity had broke up to the point I was already at the conclusion that just forget ray tracing and just don't use heavy upscaling. You will have a better image quality. Now that is how I see it. If other people see it from a different perspective, that's totally fine. But when people on this channel ask me my opinion on something, then I'm going to give it, because that's what this channel is for. If that upsets someone else, I'm sorry, but tough shit. Because I didn't make this channel to make other channels happy. It doesn't work like that. If someone within my community asks me for my honest opinion, then they're going to give it. Now, the video that I recorded yesterday, yes, admittedly, I was pushed on time. I have a very short window from the point when I finish work to the point when my children come home, and generally when they come home, chaos erupts in the house. And as you can see, I'm sat in my lounge. So it's not like I have an office at the other end of the house or something like that. So I was pushed in time. I had a very short amount of time to look at the image before I'd started recording, and admittedly it was that bad. I found it hilarious. So that's the way that the video came across. It is what it is. It's authentic. It's not pre-recorded. It's not pre-rehearsed. It's me getting home, quickly banging the computer on, putting the game on, putting those settings on, taking a look at it and thinking to myself, this is exactly what I thought it would look like. It looks absolutely terrible. I'm sorry, that's my honest opinion. My honest opinion is it looks absolutely terrible. And this isn't about AMD, it's not about NVIDIA. If I put my 4080 on and I put it to ultra performance at 1440p, it will look absolutely terrible. That's my opinion. That's it. So I want to make that quite clear. I also want to make it quite clear that at no point did I name drop anyone in my video. There was no names, it wasn't directed at a person, which I find quite strange, because I've now been name dropped on another channel, but hey, so be it. Obviously I do have members on this channel that will go between other channels, so there we go. Like I said, a member asks me my honest opinion. I'm happy that they value my opinion. So I showed them my honest opinion. Now, I did go through my honest opinion of how I would use the given hardware in that video to what I would use it to and what I thought looked good, and setting the monitor to VSR at 5160 by 2160, 4K ultra wide. Looked great. I think it dropped the performance. I think we were using FSR quality to get there, and I think we were still below 60 FPS. So what I might do today, or maybe tomorrow, at some point over the weekend, I will probably make another video showing how me, would run Cyberpunk on a 7900 XTX, where I think you are getting the best out of that GPU for that game. And it probably won't include ray tracing. It will probably include the best fidelity that I can get from that game. It doesn't mean that you can't do ray tracing. If you want to try and push path tracing, absolutely knock yourself out. But I think I tried to push path tracing yesterday, and I don't see the benefit of trying to push path tracing. From what I'm concerned, it reduced the image quality of a 1000 GPU to the image quality of maybe a PlayStation 2. I mean, you'd get better image quality than 1440p FSR ultra performance on any other GPU if you're not using ultra performance. It makes no sense to me. The image quality was that reduced for what? It made no sense. So you can add a visual enhancement that isn't enhancing your visuals because they're so bad to start with. It actually even made them look worse, which was even hard to take. So I'm sorry, that's my honest opinion. That doesn't mean that the AMD 7900 XTX isn't an awesome GPU. It's an awesome GPU. When I set it to ultra-wide 4K at FSR quality, I can tell you right now, because that had no ray tracing included, that would be outperforming my 4080 at pure raster at that resolution. For the 4080 to catch up, I would probably have to go from the AMD being on FSR quality, I'd probably have to reduce the 4080 to FSR balanced. The good thing is DLSS balanced at 4K does look good in that game, so it wouldn't be the trade-off that people might think it would be. But at the same time, I'm saying that in pure raster performance in that game, in the situation that I played, the 7900 XTX would actually be outperforming the 4080. So it's not like I'm saying the 4080 is absolutely amazing and brilliant and perfect at everything and the 7900 XTX is trash. That's absolutely not what I was saying in any way whatsoever. I don't know why that keeps getting mentioned, it keeps getting made up. I don't know how many times I have to say that's not the case. So, yeah, I'll do some videos on the 7900 XTX and I will do them how I would set it up and how I think it looks good. And people will either appreciate that or they won't, and that's how it is, unfortunately. I'm not getting dragged into, because the other thing that I notice in my chat a lot of the time is, right, on those exact settings, how does the 4080 perform? I don't really care. I'll be honest, I don't care. I don't care about 10 FPS here or there as a metric, and I don't really care about the constant bickering between how does something perform on the exact same settings. It doesn't matter to me. I'm really not bothered. I will set up the 4080 how I think looks good. Now, if the 4080 is struggling to do path tracing, I'm not going to use path tracing. If the 4080 is struggling to do something else, then I'm not going to use it. I'm going to take the 4080 and I'm going to set it up at the settings that I think looks good, and I'll take the 7900 XTX and I'll set that up at the settings that I think makes that look good. They don't have to be the same settings, and they don't have to have the same FPS at the end of it. I don't care. Like, that's childish shit from what I'm concerned. I'm using two different products that aren't designed to be the same product. If I wanted them to match, I'd buy two fucking 4080s, or I'd buy two 7900 XTXs. I don't care. I'll take one, and I will get the best performance out of it at the settings that work for it. And maybe that might be a case of, with the 4080 in a certain game, I might have to drop the settings from ultra to high, and I might have to run a different upscaling technique, whereas on the 7900 XTX I might be able to keep the settings at ultra, but then I might have to run a different upscaling technique. They're going to have different performance. If the performance is good enough at the end of it, I don't care how well it matches up. If visually they look okay at the end of it, I don't care how it matches up. I'm using each of these products to the best that I think I can get out of them, and it's not always going to match, and they're not going to have the final FPS output. I don't care. It's not a dick swinging contest. There's not a lot more I can say on it, so I'm going to leave it there, because if not, I'll just be bashing my head against a brick wall. So, like I said, if you appreciate the content that I am trying to make, and the content that I am trying to make is showcasing how best to use the hardware I have to make it as visually appealing as it can be, because I believe that's where you spend your money, personally. I believe when I buy a £1,000 product, I want to be able to turn on a game and it visually wow me. Now, I completely understand that some people want to be able to use the same product and turn on a game and have 400 FPS. And I completely appreciate that. I have absolutely no problem with that, because those people want to use that product for a way that suits them. I'm a visuals guy, so that's the content I'll be making. I don't do side-by-sides. I'm not really interested in doing side-by-sides. It's not a metric that affects me. If I have a base frame rate that is good enough for me, and then I can change visual enhancements. Now, on the NVIDIA system, that will probably mean that sometimes I can add some RT on, because the performance hit that I get with the 4080 won't be as bad as the performance hit that I would get with the 7900 XTX. That doesn't mean that I have to always try and push the boundaries on the 4080 to try and get path tracing or something like that. I'm already seeing the comments about Black Myth Wukong and how shit the 4080 is going to be. I don't care. No one told me in the rulebook when I bought a 4080 that I have to use path tracing at 4K or even 1440p. I don't have to use path tracing. I can just turn some settings down. I can just use a ray tracing setting or something like that. And if people want to make some childish bullshit comment about that across the internet, then fucking fair play to them. I think it's childish. Whatever. I don't get it. So, I'm going to end it there. If you watched, cool. Swing me a like. I'll catch you in the next one.